G'day, Steve Morgan here, Australian Bass Tournaments, and we have just witnessed in the last event a record-setting bag of two fish, Liam and James. We were contemplating the other night, you couldn't even make it to 150 kilos, mate, 149 and change. In US terms, that's a 328-pound bag of 10 fish over 2 nights to get it done. James, how good does that feel to set a new ABT record?
Yeah, they're big numbers. Like we didn't come here thinking it was going to be like that, but we usually do get a few big fish here. But to get so many that it adds up to those sort of numbers is amazing. Yeah,
it is land of the giants. And Liam, you guys have done really well on this joint. You got a second or a third, I think, the first event you fished here. Then you won the all-nighter, only fishing half the night. Another win now. You must be chomping at the bit, waiting for the all-nighter, which is happening tonight. What sort of numbers are we expecting?
Yeah, we'll just be happy to get a few fish, I think, tonight. Just, but that's all we set out to do. We never set out to set out, and we just do what we're confident with, and hopefully we get fish.
We had a look at your photos. Nicole showed me some of the interesting photos of your. What's the go with the hobo shoes? We'll put this on as a cutaway there. What is the go with the hobo shoes?
So Liam usually, I leave my shoes that I used for fishing in Liam's boat, and he usually brings them, but he forgot them this time. So I had to go down to the local op shop and sort through their shoes and found some boat shoes, and I thought they looked pretty cool, but they just fell apart as I started to wear them. Like, I put them on in the boat, the soles fell off, and then so I've been wearing soleless shoes for the last 2 nights. And
he wanted a new pair yesterday, but I wouldn't let him get them because they were too good luck the first night.
Exactly. They were lucky shoes, and look, you know what they say, Dad can now have a new pair of shoes because you won the tournament.
I'll buy some today.
Let's go through some of the techniques. Your name is, Humminbird is in your team name. In the back of all the photos we see Humminbird 360 and live down there. You're fishing a little boat. It's in the background here, and there's as much technology in it as the boat's worth. Take us through your Humminbird rig that you use to locate these fish and a bit about the pattern that was working for you.
Yeah, so I've got, I run 4 helixes now, one up the front with live and another up the front with 360, and then at the back I have side and down and the maps, which are excellent as well. I haven't had the live for all that long, but 360 I've been using for a few years now, and I believe it's untouchable for barra fishing. So some of the stuff we're doing, we're just scanning banks and identifying good spots, and then we'll be like, okay, this looks a good spot, suss it out, 360 down, identify all the trees, structure, weed, whatever you need to, and then just press off to another place and do the similar sort of thing. Then you get a good bank of fish and spots and stuff like that. What was working over the last couple of days though was we were just we'd find a few fish, and you'd sit on them with 360 and just watch them for a bit, and you'd see that they'd pull around a weed edge, or they'd be out a bit wider, and we started putting a pattern together where like you'd see them in the weed edge, but like we spoke about before, they're hard, those weed edge ones, but the ones out slightly wider are the ones you can sort of get to eat. So that's around like 12 to 15 foot, and so we've been really flexible with our spot system. Actually, we just have 5 or 6 spots in a really small sort of area, maybe a K or something like that, and we just all night we're just like do just to try and keep on top of fresh fish.
Just move to the other one.
So you're not afraid to have just caught a metre 10 at a spot and then say, right, doesn't look any good anymore, let's go?
Well, yeah, as soon as it all the sounders go quiet, we're like, oh, we're not casting at anything. Let's go find something to cast at. And that I don't think Liam forgot to mention, but we're also lucky enough to have a few that came and just sat under the boat on live, so you could see them down there and just drop the vibe down to their nose and give it a couple of hops and. Yeah, it worked 2 or 3 times for us, so it was good.
I heard the story that you were mucking around with one fish on the deck and you saw one alive and you just dropped down and got one.
Yeah, it's cool.
After 30 seconds of mucking around on the deck, and it's just sitting there like that.
So we've watched you're fishing a little bit deeper water. I'm assuming that you're using your fish traps that you're so good at, and you've got the new colour, that new Anita colour fish traps. Is it true that we've already got a tournament win on the new colour?
Yeah. That the first night we're always honest with what we get, and on the first night we got 3 big ones on Anita, and then on last night I think I hit bag with it as well, and then we just started to change up when it got a little slower with different ones. It's cool vibe box we got here.
Yeah, and everyone got one of these vibe boxes as part of the deal, and in fact an Anita Barra colour too.
Yeah, the lucky ones.
Yep.
So that one there, I reckon, has accounted for 15 metres of Barra, and but I'm retiring it so it's going to go on the wall at home somewhere.
15 metres, and this is probably only out of the box this week.
Yeah, it's at home, back at Mackay a little bit in here, but yeah,
Yep.
but that's what the a new one that hasn't been banged up looks like.
Yep.
The other colours did well for us. Jimmy got a few on this. I think the Wilson boys are using this fella as well, and they got some bites. So that's the 95mm GS1, I believe it's called, and that was it was a bit quiet. And the other one we got some big fish last night was the old blackjack, which I like to use as well.
Yep, and that's we've seen them in the team bags in the past. You can
Oh,
never say
excellent.
the Wilson guys don't give you stuff in the team kits that catch fish, because it happens all the time, doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah, they use the gear that they sell. They're awesome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the outfits, James. You've got a couple of ones here. Take us through the outfits you're using and why you like them, and give these guys a bit of a Barra vibing 101.
So they are pretty light. They are a Shimano Zodius paired with a Vanford 4000, and
It is light, isn't it?
yeah, and very, but they've got a stiff action, so quite fast rods.
Yeah.
So we can get that flick on the vibes as we bring them back, and as such we run leader a bit lighter as well. So I think that one's got a bit heavier leader. So this one we use for when we want to throw something heavier around, but 50 pound usually is what we use for the vibes.
And is that fluorocarbon or mono?
Fluorocarbon.
Yep.
But yeah, so they work really well, and we just let the fish run when they want to, except in the trees, which gets hairy.
Yep. And so the spin rod. Take us through a standard cast and retrieve. If these guys watching are like me and haven't caught that many fish on the fish traps, take us through a cast and how you retrieve it.
So we usually do it a bit different when we're both in the boat. So Liam casts along the bank, just trying to pick some up, and then someone uses a 360 to pick a couple up. So usually when it's along the bank, it's a big long cast down the bank. And it can be a variety of techniques, but usually it's just little hops back all the way.
So little as in what? Lift it up a foot off the bottom?
As like,
Little as possible.
as small as you can,
Yep.
and wait for it to go back onto the bottom. Yep, and all the way back to the boat and repeat. The ones where they're on the 360, you change it up a bit, cast them, and do a couple of quick rips, and then little ones back. Usually get a couple of bites that way as well.
Yep. And then the vertical fish, what about the ones that you see straight underneath? What's the technique for those?
When I got live, I was like, I'm not going to change how I fish because it's really addictive just to really think about it. So like we're still like I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, there's a fish there. I've got to try and make it eat how I normally do, and it's literally how you normally do. If you get under its nose. And you just give it, some good ones, and then you know right away whether it's interested. And some of the really cool ones are when like you get it interested and you just like slowly tease it up, and you get it like exactly poking up like that, and then you might just hop it still and just feel this tiny tick and set it, and then it's awesome. I love it.
It's amazing how a Barra that's in that metre to metre 20 class can feel it's riding like a brim.
That big one, the meter 18 last night, I smashed it, and then it was just like, and then I just wheeled this thing in, and it was just one of those really lucky ones, that just perfect comp fish that just come up and just straight in the net. I'm like, oh man, I was like, I don't know how big this is, and then it come up, I'm like, oh okay, it's a big girl.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So you guys, you had a bit of a rocky start to the team of the year. The race at a Wonga in the top 10, but only one fish. But 110 points from the event last night. The 10 bonus points for your 10 Barra, and 100 points for the win. What? Have your eyes set on it again this year, maybe?
Oh, yeah. We just take it, fish by fish, pretty much. So
Yep.
It'd be great if it did happen, and obviously you do this sort of stuff to get that sort of stuff. But
Yep.
we're not thinking it's in the bag or anything. But
No, we've got a lot of events to go. 4 events in the tour. And one more question I've got for you. The boys at Tolga Traders sorted you out. Tell us what happened with the prop last night.
Oh yeah, that happened like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I ripped literally a third of the prop off, and like my boat doesn't go fast anyway, so I didn't notice anything. And then when we got out of the water, like, oh man, there's like half of this prop missing. So yeah, the guys actually come and dropped a prop at our place this morning. So yeah, really awesome service. Yeah, appreciate it.
It is great service from an ABT retailer. Look, we've got another event we're going to get ready for now. There's a few water skiers and that on the lake at the moment. They're going to get off pretty soon because they don't like the dark, and the Barra come out. Prediction for weights tonight. What do you reckon is going to be the win? Mightn't be yours, but what's the winning weight? Might be yours too.
Well, I guess our last two nights have been around the 70 kilo mark, so I think
Somewhere in the 70s?
anything in the 70s. Yeah.
And Liam, what about you?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think it'll be in the 70s. Yep.
And one more prediction. We're going to come back on tomorrow. How many limits between the field tonight? Because with that morning session, that they bite pretty good. So more limits.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of those guys that live here like to fish that morning. So I'm assuming that they're going to hit those bigger ones in the morning. I'll go 15 limits. Here you go.
Wow, 15.
I'll go 11.
And I'll go 9. So we'll see what happens. All the results on www.abt.org.au. Follow the live scoreboards.
Can we just say one more thing?
Yes.
Before we go, I'd like to thank my partner Lanry for looking after the baby at home, and we've got another one on the way. And
wow.
And Liam's partner Casey is here looking after the baby while we go fishing. So a lot of thanks to those.
How tips for the boys? How do you get that happening?
I don't know. Just get a good lady, I guess.
Fair. And yes, I noticed yours down there looking after the young fella. Another 15 or so years, he'll be whacking barrows with his old man.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yep. Awesome. So www.abt.org.au for the live scoreboards for now and for the rest of the Zerek Barra series.